All right, guys, we're going to jump in and break down last night's Game 4 loss after this quick word from FanDuel. It is winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So we found out about an hour before tip last night that Donovan Mitchell was not going to be able to play with his calf strain.
Right.
No Jared Allen. The line went from 8.5 in favor of the Celtics to 10.5. It closed at 12.5. But lo and behold, the shorthanded Cavs battled to the very end. And, Bull, I know you were surprised, not necessarily by the effort, but by the competitive factor of this game, despite the Cavs missing their top 2 players throughout the postseason.
Maybe I'm crazy. I usually don't believe in moral victories, but I thought the Cavs played a hell of a game.
They played their asses off.
They did.
I was so impressed with this team. I thought they were going to lose by 30 in this game, right? Everybody thought they would get killed.
Yeah.
And every time it looked like the Celtics, every time you had that thought of, okay, here go the Celtics, every time the Cavs made a run, I mean,
Max Strus shot him in the game. Max Strus kept him in the game in the first half.
In the first half, and then Darius Garland in the fourth quarter was great. Mobley played well in the second half. They got like everybody that played contributed at some point in the game of the, I think, 8 guys that played in this game. And I just thought it was an excellent game. It was fun. It was exciting. The crowd was into it. They only had the lead, the Cavs, right in the beginning, and then for 30 seconds in that third quarter, they took the lead real quick. But they were in it to the final minute. They still had a chance. A fighting chance. They played their asses off in this game. And I thought the Celtics came off like losers and punks when Jaylen Brown at the end of the game when he's finally confident in the final 40 seconds that they've sealed the deal against a team without their biggest superstar and without Jared Allen, who was their second best player of the postseason. Then he finally talks his trash late in the game. I thought he came off as a total loser doing that. And they're a loser team, and their coach is a loser. He looks like a total dope standing on the. Have you ever seen a coach standing on the sideline look less confident than that guy ever in your life?
All right, now, wait a second. I am by no means a big Joe Mazzulla fan.
Yeah.
I've made that clear on the show. But people, what do you want out of the coach? Like, seriously, people bitch at JB because he's always bitching the officials. People bitched about Byron because he stood there like this. Now you're saying, Joe, what do you want the coach to do?
Jayson,
what should the coach do?
I don't care what he does. All I'm saying, it's not even his fault. It's his natural look. He stands there, and he looks like he's going to shit his pants. Every time he's standing there, he looks completely not confident. He looks like a loser. Well, it's not my fault that's the look on his face.
Bull, his job is on the line here. What are you talking about?
Good, it should be, and I hope the Celtics get their ass kicked in the next round. I hope. I don't think they're going to, but in the finals, I hope they get their ass kicked by whoever they play. Although I hope it's not the Mavs, although the Mavs choked their asses off, thankfully, because if they play Kyrie, then I hate Kyrie and I hate the Celtics. Then I'm screwed. But I want anybody else to win but them.
Real quick, then we'll get back to the game.
Yeah.
That was the first time I was at a Joe Mazzulla pregame press conference yesterday, Jayson. That shit was weird.
That was...
What happened? Tell us.
It lasted 1 minute, 22 seconds. They asked like 3 questions. He gave one-word answers to all 3, and then he was just done.
So I was talking to... Because when he walked out, I said, what was that?
I looked at Jayson like, did we just watch the same? It was absurd.
Yeah, and one of the questions was, it's human nature to have a little bit of a letdown when the other team doesn't have its best player. How do you fight through that or something like that? And he said, don't be human. It's like, oh, okay. Well, let's just turn into aliens.
By the way,
it was weird.
See, there's the look every time. And he looks lost all the time. By the way, can we stop as a society, as sideline reporters, can we stop asking... I feel like every sideline reporter now asks the player, what did you see out there? What did you see out? What did you feel out there? What did you see out there? Can we come up with something else to ask a player during the game?
I'm not a sideline reporter.
I know you're not, but can you help them, please?
No.
For crying out loud.
I mean, it's a tough job. It's
not.
Yes, it is.
They're getting paid a ton of money to do nothing.
I want to see you do it.
Wow. If I was a sideline reporter, I'd be the best in the country, except for Aditi, because I love her. Everybody else, and Evan Washburn is great. And
it would be funny.
And a couple of others. Most of them suck.
It'd be funny to watch Bull with Greg Popovich. If the Spurs are down like 25.
I'd be like, Dude, Pop, I mean, just asking you a question. You don't have to be a dick, do you? I mean, come on. I love you, man. But
Todd,
you're
just
being a
what'd you
bit
think
of
of
a
the effort
dick.
last night?
Let me tell you something. Nothing I said is unfair. We all know this. We all pretend the sideline reporters, most of them stink. We know this. They're overpaid, but good for them. They're getting paid. Good for them. But does anybody disagree that Jaylen Brown's a punk? You know he's a fake tough guy. Earl's a real tough guy. Let's bring Earl in on this. Earl, Jaylen Brown would get his ass kicked in the streets, would he not?
I don't know.
Come on, Earl. Come on. I need you with me on this.
Ty, what'd you make of the Cavs?
You've been out of the streets too long, Earl. You don't know anymore.
I thought the Cavs played really well. I thought the fact that it took DG, obviously he was a little slow in the first quarter, but he got going in the second, so it was nice seeing that. I really liked the first play, how they opened the game. Max Strus was a guy that I was kind of out on, this postseason because he really hadn't done a lot, but it was nice to see him start the game off, hit the first shot, three-pointer. I think he went 5 for 5 before he started missing threes, I want to say.
Yep.
So he had 15 points, so I thought that was big. But I just thought it was a bunch of guys that stepped up, and it was nice to see. I wanted to see how this team react. Now that, because for the past however many games it's been, since game 6 of last series, it's been Donovan, save us, lead us, take us. Like, we're just going to follow Donovan, let Donovan do his thing. Now that you remove Donovan off the court, you go back to the Cavs as of, 2 years ago, the play-in Cavs when they didn't have Donovan. Let me see what y'all do. How much better have y'all gotten? Because with Donovan, he has the killer instinct. He knows how to finish games. He can say, bleep it, give me the ball and get out the way. But now he's not there. I need you guys to play team basketball. And I thought that they did. I thought that they answered and responded in a lot of ways. I thought it was sometimes where Mobley got beat up a little bit in the paint, but when you don't got Jared Allen down there, that can be part of the thing. But he also exerted himself. One of my favorite plays is I see Tristan Thompson go out there, snatch the ball from somebody, and go up and dunk. I was like, he might be back on that stuff again. But I thought that they fought really hard. Like I said, it came down to the end. I got the answers on a lot of players that I had question marks about. Like DG. DG, where you been at? It was nice to finally see you get confident. I think once you see that first 3 go down, you got confident in yourself again, and you knew that you had to go back to being that guy before Donovan was here. And it was nice to see you start doing things well with the ball, making some good passes, but finishing. And finishing was the part that you kept missing a lot. You kept getting to the rim, but you kept missing the layup. So it was nice to see those go down. It was nice to see you hit some threes. Nice to see Evan Mobley hit a three. And I thought that every time that the Celtics was about to pull away, it seemed like somebody hit a big three to slow momentum down. Even Sam Merrill came in and hit 2 threes, which I thought was crunch time minutes.
And he missed every shot after that.
Yeah, I know. But the 2 that he hit was like, at the timing that he hit it was perfect timing. And I felt the same way with Strus. Strus hit the threes right when they needed them the most. The biggest one was Karis LeVert. He got the start. I always thought that he would be the X factor coming off the bench, but I wanted to see how he could assert himself as a starter. Having the 19 points, he really does a great job of pushing the tempo on fast breaks and stuff like that, so it was nice to see. But overall, I was satisfied with it. I just wish y'all would play like that when Donovan's there. If y'all play like that when Donovan was there, we'd be singing a whole different tune.
What's interesting is LeVert and Darius, neither shot well from 3. They were both much better at getting the ball to the basket.
I think Karis was like 1 for 8 for Trey.
Yeah. Jayson, do you agree with Tyvus? Do you think some questions were answered by these other guys or no?
I think it's dangerous to say everything was answered on one game or to make big, long judgments based on one game. It's fun. The Darius Donovan thing is interesting because last year Darius played well playing alongside Donovan. Like, the numbers show it. And we talked about that before, that they looked fine together. All these questions about can Donovan and Darius play together, they didn't really exist last year, but they certainly have come up this year. And then Donovan goes out, and then Darius plays well, and Donovan's had some of his best nights when Darius isn't on the floor.
Right.
But we've also talked before about not always just relying on Donovan. When you have a star player who draws as much oxygen and attention as he does, it was the same way with LeBron. You play a certain way, and then you come to rely on that piece. And then when that piece isn't there, it disrupts what you're used to. And we've seen it's like a drug for the coach and for the players. We'll just give it to him and let him go do it. And then when that leg gets swept out, well, now what are you going to do? And we saw last night, Darius answered. He got off to a terrible start, I thought. Didn't play well early. didn't shoot it well from three, which is funny because he's been their best 3-point shooter in this postseason. And what was he? Was he 4 of 13? Is that
4 for 13? But he took 2 at the end of a buzzer. He was really 4
So
for
4 of 11.
11 and a half, if you really want to.
So 4 of 11. But that was his best game that he's played in a while. Evan came on at the end. And, I mean, Max Strus couldn't throw it in the ocean this entire postseason. Makes 5 threes in the first half. He kept them in the game in the first half. Max Strus was the reason they were in that game. And it felt like the game plan last night, and I've talked before about start at the rim, get some easy baskets early, and then move back. It felt like last night was, F it. Let's just shoot as many threes as we can because it's our only shot. And I thought, you know what? You're right. Go ahead and do that.
It.
Because without Donovan,
thank you.
Just jack the threes. Shoot as many threes as you can find.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of really good looks.
Oh, yeah.
Especially late in the game. They had wide open looks that just didn't go down.
Yeah. It's interesting. I talked before about how every time the Celtics felt like they were going to pull away, the Cavs made a run. Even in the beginning of the game, the Cavs start hot, 8-2, I think was the start of the game. Yeah. And then the Celtics went on a 19-2 run. Yeah. They were up 21-10. Like, the game could have been over then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It felt like you're like, oh, man. And I thought the Celtics scored what in the first quarter? 38, 36, something like
37.
that?
It was 37-30 after.
And they held them to 75 the rest of the game after the first quarter. I mean, Al Horford couldn't hit the broadside of a barn right now, but I thought the Cavs played well defensively. The effort in this game, and they got killed on the glass for a lot of the game because they just didn't have the size.
I still think that's the biggest thing, and that's because Evans down there by himself. I think the Jared Allen part of that, they would obviously do much better on the glass. And I just think that from a size-wise, like, we know Mobley's not the biggest.
Yeah.
And I feel like he gets taken advantage of. Even Al Horford sometimes bullies him a little bit.
That's true.
And that part gets to me a little bit. I know that he's young and he'll get bigger, but right now that part is really bothering me that because like even on offense when he tries to do moves, like he don't really get no movement there. But he scored a bunch of times when it was like Drew Holiday or somebody on him. He was able to do it easily. But when it's one of those actual centers, he struggles.
He's going to have a hard time moving those guys.
Yeah. He's got to figure out like at least a turnaround or something. I tell you what, Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown at the end of the game, boy, they fadeaway game is crazy.
They're good players.
Man.
Yeah. They're good players. And they're also in year 7 and 8.
Yeah.
They've been together. It's hard to believe they've been together that long, but I think they're in years 7 and 8. I think,
because Tatum was the 17 draft and Brown was the 18 draft. So whatever that lines
up. I thought Greg, in terms of the rebounding too, I thought Greg Anthony made some good points on the broadcast when he showed how like some of the Cavs players were not like there'd be a missed shot and the Celtics were getting easy second chances because the Cavs were not in position to contest those rebounds.
Yeah.
Rebounding, one of the biggest misconceptions in basketball is that your big is the only one who rebounds.
No, it's everybody.
One game the Cavs won. Game 2, their guards, Strus, Garland,
I think Darius
and
had
Mitchell
7 rebounds that game.
combined for 20.
Yeah.
Strus had 6. Mitchell and Garland both had 7. Rebounding, especially when you're undersized, and not just with the one big, because Horford's not a 7-footer. Mobley's actually taller than him. But when your wings are undersized like the Cavs are, it comes down to a 5-man effort rebounding. And the only game the Cavs have won, not just the scoreboard, but the rebounding battle, was Game 2. And I'm not surprised that it's a correlation that when the Cavs rebound well, they have significantly more team success. And a lot of it is partly Mobley, but a lot of it is in this matchup. You have 6'9" Tatum, 6'7" Brown, 6'5" White, 6'4" Holiday, rebounding against guys 6'1", 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah. Man, White was so good coming into the series and great in Game 1, and he can't make a shot for them. Horford can't score, but
why?
Yeah.
So, because that's funny you say that. When you said what you just said, McNugget, it made me think about my high school when my coach used to make us do the rebounding drill where the ball goes up. You had 5 guys out. Ball goes up. Everybody on defense turn around, boxes their man out as soon as the ball goes up. Why is they not doing that now? Why would you not do that now? Knowing that you undersized, knowing that Mobley's by itself, why wouldn't you be boxing your guy out to make sure, like, my guy can't get the rebound?
That's a good question.
McNugget?
Mike?
You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, there's Could be a couple reasons. I don't know exactly what the Cavs are doing. I know they're struggling to score, and I'm saying run. So part of that is
they're trying to push.
Pray you
the
get
tempo.
a rebound and get two guys in transition and try to get an easier look. The reality is it comes down to effort. And I'm not calling out anyone individually, but rebounding is an effort skill. It's about 50%, maybe that's a little low, 55% physical, but it's 45% mental. And same with defense. It's almost equally a mental decision that you're going to lock in, fight over screens, get around difficult situations, navigate following a ball handler as much as it is your actual lateral quickness and ability to jump with the guy. And when it comes to rebounding, Jayson Tatum being 6'9" and can jump is going to help him get rebounds over a guy like Max Strus or LeVert who are 6'3", 6'4". But it becomes a lot more difficult if you're at the right position, boxing out, forcing him out. So it's not something the Cavs had really struggled with throughout the season. They were a relatively good rebounding team with the two bigs. With the one big, it takes a much more consistent and concerted team effort to get those rebounds against the bigger team. So I don't think it's an unfair criticism, Ty. But when you look at guys yesterday, Okoro had 3 rebounds. Garland had 3 rebounds. Strus had 7. He's actually done a pretty good job all season helping control the glass from the wing position. LeVert had 5. But they had 5 combined rebounds off the bench. And Dean Wade played 25 minutes last night. I know he's just coming off injury. He had 1 rebound in 25 minutes. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
By the way, Tyvis, there was a reason why I was the elite rebounder in the PS 254 schoolyard when we would play after school, because it was all about effort, Tyvis, and I had the effort. And let's face it, I was dominant in that role. I wish you could have seen me then.
What grade was this?
This was when we were in high school, and we'd go to PS 254. In New York, all the elementary schools don't have fancy names like we do here in Cleveland.
Okay.
Maybe in the city. In the city of Cleveland, do the schools just say a number? Or they actually
No, they got names.
Yeah.
Okay. In New York, all the elementary schools just had a number. So it was PS 254. That was the schoolyard we would play basketball at. And I would kill it on the glass.
Back here on Earth.
Are you saying Jayson, I will out-rebound you any day of the week. Any day of the week.
You talking about today?
Right now, I'm knocking you on your ass.
I actually would. I actually agree
I would.
with that.
I'll tell you something else. I'll tell you something else. I would out-rebound Jaylen Brown in my prime because he's soft, and I would use my body and F him up. You punk.
Well, back here on Earth, to the point of
I should have brought a 3 Musketeer today.
You should have.
the point of rebounding and effort. Go back and look when the Cavs won the championship. The Warriors were literally putting 3 people on Tristan. And Tristan's not the biggest guy. And a lot of teams were. And Tristan, he's big, but he's not the biggest guy on the floor. He ain't the biggest guy on the floor, though.
Yeah.
But he's the most tenacious.
Yeah.
I just told you. And then you just hear what I said. He snatched that ball from somebody and went up and dunked it.
It was impressive because he's got about 2 vertical now.
Chloe might need to come to every game. He tried to show out. He want that old thing back.
He was ferocious back in his prime as a rebounder.
God.
He was pivotal to that championship. People don't realize how important Tristan was.
Yeah, that's why he got paid $81 million after that.
He got a lot of money, but the way he could rebound and switch on his defenders, though, he was a crucial piece of what they did.
I mean, think of the best like Dennis Rodman, all-time great.
He like
rebounder.
6'8".
The worm.
He wasn't overly big and like outrageously athletic compared to the 7 foot. I mean, he's a crazy athlete. Don't get me wrong. But it wasn't like he was 7'4" just grabbing rebounds because he was tall. Tristan Thompson, another example. You go out through the history of basketball, some of the best rebounders in the sport. Charles Barkley was what, 6'5", 6'6", 6'4"?
Yeah, he was a great rebounder.
It's a lot about
Barkley
positioning,
only 6'4"?
knowing where the ball's. Yeah, Charles Barkley's not nearly as big as you think.
I just knew he was like 6'7". Wow.
But also, like Rodman used to talk before, it's knowing. I mean, we're really getting in the weeds
he
here on
studied
rebounding.
where how the ball would come off the rim. He like understood
it's the angles. Yes, and he knew if it's coming up here, it's probably going to go off there. He was a master.
He went from greatest rebounder to hanging with North Korean dictators. What happened?
Well, he had a little Carmen Electra in between.
She effed him up.